The previous Audi Q3 was like an archetype German businessman. It was sensible and efficient, good at spreadsheets, the kind of car that was good at meeting its KPIs. Now though, we get to meet its son, the new Q3. And, well, it's rebellious and more fun to look at. And, worse still, it looks up to SUV rock stars like the Lamborghini Urus. Dad would have been so disappointed. But this new Q3 has an important job, and that's to communicate Audi's small Luxo SUV message to a new generation, while not alienating its existing one. Before we find out if it can do that, remember you can check out the full detailed review over on carsguide.com.au and hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more of our latest car videos.
Appealing to a new generation needs to start with dollops of style, and the Q3 has plenty of it. I mentioned the Urus before because this Audi channels the super SUV through all of its angles and edges. Audi hasn't totally burned its existing Q3 fanbase though. Despite moving up in size significantly, the Q3 retains that sensible visage, enough that return customers and new younger buyers alike will all find something to love here. For those wanting something even more Urus-esque, there's a sportback version with that signature coupe roofline, and a hot RS version coming early next year.
By far my favourite angle of the Q3 though is here on the inside, where it's more of a radical change. I love the way the dash cascades down with all these textures, and what's more, everything you see here is standard, from the giant multimedia touchscreen to the digital dash and even a wireless phone charger. It does all of that while maintaining that signature ergonomic feel that the Q3 has become known for.
Audi's catchphrase, progress through technology, is a bit of a hard sell when you're not even offering Apple CarPlay. It's a good thing then, this new Q3 not only offers the latest tech, it offers an impressive amount of it as standard. The most impressive standard inclusions are Audi's signature digital dash, a Qi wireless charging bay, and this is the first Audi to offer wireless Apple CarPlay as standard. There's no subscription required. Built-in nav is standard as well, and the Q3 comes with its own onboard SIM, offering passengers a Wi-Fi network as well as over-the-air updates. Audi even says it will offer you information on available parking spots at your destination and talk to Audi's app to tell you where you've left the car. Like many new multimedia systems, there are also voice commands built in, which are all very cool, but I can't help but feel like most of that ground is covered by phone connectivity. While all those tech inclusions give the cabin an amazing look and feel, it's unfortunate that power adjustable seats are still on the remarkably short options list. The Q3 has always been pretty good for cabin space in the small SUV world, but this new one is even better again. I have ample room for my knees and my head in the second row.
Now the Q3's real party trick is here in its boot, where it has 530 litres of space. What does that mean, you're probably wondering? It means it has a bigger luggage area than even some mid-sizes a class above.
Let's talk engines. The Q3 will eventually have several options, all of which will be turbocharged petrols. There's no diesel slated for the Q3 range in Australia, but in the near future there will be an RS with the TT's killer 5-cylinder turbo, as well as a 48-volt mild hybrid.
The Q3 will launch here with just one engine choice, the base 35 TFSI. Normally in cars like the Audi A1 and with modest power outputs, it's definitely feeling the extra weight here in the Q3. If it's more power you're after, you need not worry at all. There are two 2-litre turbo engines in the form of the 40 and the 45 on the way. Okay, let's talk driving in the Q3. So it's got a almost hot hatch-like suspension tune, and we've been blasting down some countryside roads all of today, and it's confident in the corners, it's agile, it feels lighter than the previous car, but that has its downsides. So it's not going to be super comfortable every day. It is a little crashy, and across corrugations it's a little jittery. Steering is excellent, so it's really light when you're traveling at low speeds, but really direct when you're in the corners, and it has so much confidence to it. I don't feel like there's any time where it's sort of ambiguous or too light or too stiff. It's lovely to throw around. So the 35 TFSI engine, it's got those modest power outputs, and it's fine kind of in a backside country road like this where it's really suited to that kind of turbo coming on and off. You can catch it out of its power band quite easily, and that can be frustrating. And the other thing about it is when you're on the freeway and you need that burst of power to overtake, it feels like it doesn't have enough in reserve. Keep in mind though, this isn't the definitive Q3 experience. This is just the base engine, just the base car. We'll be very excited to test the 2-litre turbo variants that are coming shortly, somewhere in 2020. And of course the 5-cylinder RS version, which will be a whole other experience again. So this is by no means the definitive Q3 driving experience. Now, one thing I will say is these seats are excellent. They're really spongy. You have leather trim as standard. There's no cloth seat anymore for the Australian delivered cars anyway. But there are a few small chinks in the Q3's luxurious armor, and it's just small things like this gear knob, which looks like it belongs in a 20 grand Polo, and these edge bits here, they're just a bit stiff for your elbow, and it's just a few small things like that. In terms of ergonomics, it's really quite good as well. You can't really go past that amazing digital dash, which again is standard. You've got this big, nice screen. It looks amazing, but the resolution's very high, so some of the buttons are actually really small and hard for you to press, especially when you should be keeping your eye on the road. But you do get a whole set of dials for temperature and fan speed for the air conditioning, and that's a big win in my book.
And then there's safety. Well, the Q3 has been vastly improved in this department as well. At last, you'll get auto emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, and lane departure warning as standard. On the options list is active cruise control as well as an auto parking suite. Warranty is an area where you'll still lose out by picking a premium car too. Despite this Audi sharing so much of its underpinnings with VW Group vehicles, you'll still be getting just 3 years of coverage compared to Volkswagen's 5. This isn't uncommon in the premium space as consumers apparently aren't demanding it, but it'd be nice to see manufacturers take some initiative.
Audi's Q3 feels fresh, polished, and high-tech. As it's also one of, if not the most spacious small SUV in the premium segment, it also proves that you don't have to sacrifice practicality for luxury.